Hello there, and welcome to episode 6 of the Vanilla-ish European City Beginner's Guide. So what I've planned for today is to make the progress that we started in last episode, where we tried and make the city a bit more European looking, a bit more realistic with these narrow roads, to go even further and change the road layout a bit more, and finally start adding some more custom assets, some more European looking ones. So we're going to need mostly 2 mods for that. One is going to be Move It, and the other is going to be Theme Manager, and I will explain why. So as mentioned in one of my first videos, when I initially came up with that old town layout within the city walls, right? Someone commented and said, these roads are too straight, they should be curved. And looking at some maps or some photos of historical medieval city centers, that is actually correct. So, that main road right here, I like that it's super straight, it's car focused, and I imagine in the urban renewal of the post-war era, they would have, made the road a lot straighter. But as for the rest, I really want to delve in and make these roads slightly more curved. Now, I think what I'm going to do is just go step by step, move the roads around a bit with the Move It mod, redo the zoning, and have the buildings spawn again. And this time with some old town European looking buildings, not the European Suburbia pack. For that, we are going to need the Theme Manager mod. And what we can do is, just as in the vanilla game, but slightly more expanded, we can select a theme, so far so good, but we can also create a new one ourselves. And that's what we're going to do. I will call that one Low Density Old. Right now it's yellow because we don't have any buildings in there. First of all, low density residential. And there's a lot of buildings in here. And sadly, what we have to do is to go through each and every one of them and check if they fit the vibe I'm going for. And I will speed some parts up of me just going through that list. But whenever I find an asset interesting, I will explain why I chose it. That is the general idea here. So let's just get started. We also have the level as well as the size given here. So I want this included because it just looks like a backyard building or a filler building. We're building a small town here, and we will use this theme for villages as well. And a lot of those are still farming based, like modern farming, of course, but still that means we have these shacks, right? And one by one, simple, very good filler, and allows us to increase our population density a bit more. Same with that one. Honestly, all these allotment buildings, even though they're super simple and small, I think, as I said, they're perfect for what we're trying to do with additional or building add-ons. That looks too modern. Also, 3x3 is pretty large for a historical building. These tend to be smaller, I think. That one looks generic enough. Let's go with that. That looks nice as well. Quite modern. Oh yeah, and that is important as well. So sometimes an old building that might have been a row house, one of these got demolished, and what remains is a type of building that looks cut off like this. Mirrored, it would look like that on the other side. And to really convey the passing of time and, hey, there was an older building on that side, and now it no longer is. There's just the remaining flat surface. I think that conveys that as well. So this is a different looking one. 1x4, very narrow lot. But I like how simple the building looks. And the mod is great because you can even have that preview, By the way, I will provide a list, a theme Steam Workshop list of all the assets that I've used. Oh, let me see that one. That looks relatively modern. And especially in cities like these, like small-sized cities that have some infrastructure, public services, and that do see growth, we also will see these like modern 2000s style fillers. You know, an old building demolished and then these type of modern houses being integrated there. So that looks great. These were all modded, as you can see on the workshop symbol here. And now these are the vanilla buildings again. Shack, 1x1 size, why not? This building, I don't like. This one looks too Japanese. This one looks too Southern American? Japanese or Asian. That one looks super, super old-timey village, like from the 1950s, like post-war. That's the style of houses they would go for when rebuilding. Nope, too American. That one as well. For this one, the scale is off. It's okay looking, but that would never be like a 3x2. It's way too large. 3x3 would be in super empty lot, and we want to go for density in the Old Town core. So that's a nope as well. This, again, looks like early 1950s, like super simple housing. They added in the villages, so we want to include that as well. We already had that building. It's just a different lot size. Same here. We just want to include these to still have some variety, you know, because otherwise you have, I think there's an old image. Let me see if I can grab that from Reddit, right? Where there's just like that one type of building that's the only one that can fit on this lot. And there's only like one of these for that level and lot size in vanilla. And that's the result, right? And we want to prevent that. I was kind of thinking of including that building, but with the chimneys, I don't know. On the other hand, like a 1x1, super weird, super old, like post-war building, or maybe even 1920s, 1930s building. Like, they were small and they were weird. Like, you would never build anything like that nowadays. Yeah, I think for the sake of, like, having variety, I'm going to include that. Now, we're already onto level 2. Oh, I do like that one. It looks kind of American, but at the same time, I can still pull this off as, like, you know, it's European looking enough. What about that? That looks Scandinavian and a lot, like, way too modern with the garage here, so we're not going to include that one. What about that one, level 3? Would a level 3 house look like this? Like, that wood paneling, again, looks kind of Scandinavian with that cladding on top here as well. But on the other hand, we go for a European look. I never specified which country. So, you know, we can go for that. Sure, why not? It's a 1x1. We got to give that some opportunity to level up as well. Because if you don't include any in that list here, like some buildings just won't be able to level up, or some lots just won't be able to be filled. So that is why, you know, we want to make sure to include enough buildings so that they can level up. Now, check this out. Dorfhaus, German word for like village house or something. Of course, lots more medieval looking, but hell yeah, look at that. And 1x2 lot size, if we can pull off having multiple next to each other, like that row house style, I dig this. Super realistic looking. Same with that one. Look, there's this small gate in the middle, and then you have that backside with the shed and everything. This is so realistic. We definitely want to include that. This looks a bit more fancy, but I mean, these old houses for sure do exist. This looks a bit more rundown and a bit more modern. I love this asset pack. This is definitely something that is let me put a picture here. That is something that you'd see in so many villages. Modern looking apartment, hell yeah, simple enough, from like the 70s, 80s, maybe? This one as well with like the electricity cabinet and some parking. Modern looking, but still cool. Dutch house. This looks too suburban. We're not going to include that. Same with that one. This one looks like from the 1950s again, like post-war rebuilding single-family houses. European low density. I think these are from the European Suburbia pack, if I'm not mistaken. Some of these do look like pretty old towny, even though they're considered suburban. So let's see what we got. Again, 1950s. We're going to include that. Hell yeah. Nah, that is a no. That is a yes. No. Yes. Yes. Oh, that is perfect. That one as well. Yes. No. That's a bit too flat looking. On the other hand, dude, that's on a 4x4 lot. That is way too large. I don't think I'll include that. I mean, for the others, I forgot to check. You know what? Okay, it's fine. Come on. Why not? We need options. 2x2. Level 4 apartment looking building. Nice. Yeah. That might be like 2 or 3 parties living in here. Or families, like multi-family, multi-party home, whatever you want to call it. Single-family house, a little more modern-looking 3x3 lot. Yeah, that's generally on the larger size. This one's nice as well. Too modern. Nice. Yes. We want to include as many as possible just for the different lot sizes, right? As I said multiple times already. These flat, long-looking buildings, I don't know. I'm not a fan of them. Oh, I love these. Like, these look a little newer, actually. Like the 1950s houses, but renovated with the new, fresh brickworks, the windows updated. Yeah, nice. I dig it. Now that roof shape, I've seen that multiple times now. That looks so interesting. This one right here. That building, we've also seen multiple times already now. That looks kind of Dutch, even like some Dutch row houses. Again, I'm going to put a picture here. All right, and now a bit more stuff from the workshop. So let's see what I downloaded and what we can include. The nice thing is I kind of forgot because, as you have seen in the upload schedule, I've been super busy, so I totally forgot what I've planned, like building-wise, for that episode, like which buildings I actually downloaded. So it's very cool to go through that list and double-check, what assets we can include. Dude, that apartment, 3x2, like 4, 5 families living in here, that is nice, super modern, but as a filler, in the old town, I can see that happening, like old buildings being demolished, and then in the 70s, like urban renewal, they put these apartments. I mean, it's not going to be the only building that is level 2 and on a 3x2 lot, but, it also shows the passing of time, just because it's such a different style from the old town buildings. I do want to include some of them, like more modern looking ones, right? Row house, apartment, smaller row houses, flipped version. Oh, that is, I think this is like a fake old town looking building. That's a modern house, but made to look old town, which I'm okay with. Single family houses being built in the villages, they try and make them look a little nicer and more integrated with the surroundings. There's actually a very interesting law here in Germany, and that is if there's no plan on how you're allowed to build, like no zoning code for an area, just like historically there never was one, or it's like too much work for the local city administration, there's just one rule. If there's an empty lot in an otherwise built up area and there's no zoning code, just try and have the building fit in style-wise and usage-wise. So you can't just build a modern office in an old city center, village core, but you could do 2-3 family house, single family house, and kind of have it fit the surroundings look-wise. Concerning roof shape, setback, that kind of style. And there's actually a law for that, which would be, for the German viewers, Paragraph 35, Baugesetzbuch, Innenentwicklung. There you go. Have fun trying to translate that one, all you international viewers. All right. Suburban French house, as the name says, they're suburban, so we're not going to include these. This one looks a bit more like villagey and less suburban, just because of the height and small footprint. Again, it's a 1x1 level 5. It's very nice, like very snazzy looking. So we're going to include that. That is very modern looking as well, but kind of fits the style as well. UK terraced or like council houses, semi-detached ones. Yeah, these fit as well. All the vanilla villas we're going to skip. And we're done with the residential ones. Now, we just need a bit more low-density commercial. It's way less buildings. And if we got that, we're done. And we can start with the zoning. Again, I'll try and speed that up a bit. Garages, nope, that's going to be for the industrial area. Commercial wall-to-wall, yes, please. This one as well. This is on a large footprint, like a 3x3, but for a large corner building on a wider road, that could for sure work. That is also one of the things I'll try to, kind of tweak the zoning a bit. Oh, dude, look at this. This is too large for a village like this. 3x3 and like 4 floors, that's too much. I'm not going to include that. This one, I'm going to include this one. Low one, that might be slightly too large as well. 4 floors, but it's a 2x2, so it might not be as jarring. What was I saying? Oh yeah, zoning. We're going to double check if what I did previously makes sense. This one's too large as well. On the other hand, very representative and like awesome looking building. Imagine that in such a small village, and then you have like one large, like 3x4 big commercial building. I can kind of see that working. 2x2 flat. So you know what? No, that should have been a 1x1. That is misscaled. That's not working. Yeah, but the thing is, I just randomly placed commercial buildings. I mean, yeah, in villages you have like a random barber shop in just someone's house, right? And it's just somewhere in there in the zoning mix, because we don't have mixed use zoning. But I really want to focus a bit more on adding larger scale houses, like 2x3s, 3x3s on large corners instead of just the side streets. Random shops, different sizes. This one is not good looking. This one doesn't fit as well. Big bite, nope. Just need ones that don't stick out too much style-wise. Because also, I mean, yes, we need gas stations, fast food restaurants, but we're going to add that to a commercial area a little outside of the city. And that's going to be a different zoning style, like car-focused development or something. That's simple enough. That's like very generic looking. If, 4x3, 4x3, if that doesn't spawn too often, that could work. Oh, level 2, 1x1, that fits style-wise as well. This one as well. This, sure, why not? That's a bit too simple looking. This building right here, so many people commented on that. Dude, the vanilla buildings, just no. Just no. This one is okayish looking because it's like simple enough looking. Might be from the 80s or 70s or something. So I think we can pull this off, but this is all just... Dude, I'm so glad we have like more options for buildings right now with the custom stuff and just preventing other buildings from spawning. Because honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to have level 3s in here at all. I mean, yeah, okay, these don't really look level 3 at all, but well. This one, yes, but might be a bit too tall. We gotta double check if these are okay for like the pedestrian shopping center. Pedestrian shopping street. Oh, what is that? That's a bit too American, too New York downtown looking building. And this building, oh man, so many people remember this building because it's so jarring looking. Oh, that's nice. Nice and large building. Looks like an office. I think now with the new parking lot assets from the free update, we could pull this off. You know, if you add a parking lot next to this, that's completely different looking from as if you were just having this zoned somewhere randomly in the middle of nowhere or in the middle of single family houses in the old town or in the shopping street, you know? And this building, yeah. These two look as if they tried to like modernize their shopping street a bit in the early 2000s or something. Great. Yeah, we did it. All right. Now let me double check. This is no longer European suburbia, but low density old. That is what we said we want to assign this to. And now we just go block by block, like kinda we will see if we find like some larger consistent areas to work with. And if we press M, we're going to open move it, and we're going to curve some roads. Like for example, this. Why would that be such a... You know what? No, we're going to leave this because maybe there was a smaller side street here or a path that has since been demolished. And that large road here, that's okay as well. And that triangular corner. But the smaller roads, I definitely want to, like, for example here, I want to give this a bit more space. And same here. Why would that road be so sharp, that curve? And why not give this some slight curvature as well? Because that then aligns nicely with this curvature here. Maybe something like that. Sure, why not? Yeah. You know, these are the small things that might sell this area a bit better than me just having randomly straight roads. And, for example, widening that here so we could have a triangular building there instead of having that, you know, completely straight like we had previously. I mean, we don't really have to overdo it or oversell it. It's just, you know, the roads wouldn't be perfectly straight, so let's just angle them ever so slightly. And now, what we're going to do in that area is remove all the buildings. All the zoned buildings, that is. And later on, we will rezone them. Zoning tool. There we go. Now, we have a lot more space to work with. Also, the reason we can do that mid-game is, first of all, it's paused, but I mean, I will have to unpause the simulation afterwards. But we have a lot of money and a lot of surplus. So what that means is we can do larger reworks of areas without, you know, fearing as much for our, you know, financial capacity of losing all that income from demolishing all these buildings. Right, so we have a school here, and some larger roads. I think we can just add some more commercial here, and then just some detailing, fillers, whatever right there. This is going to be trees. You know what? Why don't we just... And we have some nice greenery surrounding that elementary school. Perfect. Right, let's get back to zoning. Larger street, some commercial here, some 1x4, because why not? Some side streets. That's an interesting, like, corner lot. So corners tend to be lots where there's a bit more commercial activity because there's more pedestrian traffic. That is historically where you'd have these type of commercial buildings. Let's do a large 3x3. Let's try if that works. And just as in other episodes, I will try and that's another corner lot right there. Another one here on that big ring road. I will try and do like staggered zoning or whatever you want to call it. Reason being, we don't want all the buildings to have the same shape. So let's see what happens here. Ooh, nice. Look at that first European looking building right there. Very, very nice. I think next episode we'll use another mod to get rid of all that signage. There's a mod for that, of course there is. All right, and once these are all zoned in, we will see if we can fit some more commercial in there, and then the rest we're just going to fill with residential, because we have huge demand, but this time we can really increase the density, you know, because we have 1x1s, we have 1x2s, and this time in the old towns, we really want to force that wall-to-wall, semi-detached, that kind of thing, you know? All right, let's go for one more here on that ring road. Could have a 1x2 because we want to have different shapes. A large 3x4. Let's see if that works. It does. Nice. And the rest, well, for the first time in ages, I'm going to use this like brush tool right here. I haven't done that in such a long time because, you know, my other series, as you might have seen on Twitch or on YouTube, completely dealt with placing individual buildings, not really using the zoning tool, lots of custom stuff, way more assets than I'm using now. So this for me, like using the zoning tool is, dude, this is such a throwback. All right, now that is some result, isn't it? You know, the density is still not just perfect as I would want it to. There's still something like, for example, here you have like some backyard, small scale industry, like some small, you know, carpenter's shop or something. You'd have more fences, parking lots, trees, that kind of stuff. But this is basically the simple version, the not detailed, low modded, on the fly version. And I think compared to vanilla, even like vanilla European, which is only high density, this is way more realistic looking already. Like, for example, this corner. This is so nice. Like, what is with that lot? Like, let me double check. Oh, there is some space. It's just not zoned yet. See, this is interesting. So, you know, we're getting somewhere. I'm digging this. Interesting type of zoning here. But, for example, this small commercial kiosk-looking building, kind of shady. And then this garden house or attached building to this. Like, in real life, I would imagine it being something like this, right? Dude, I dig this. Perfect. Again, this is not detailed, very low maintenance, basically. We just set up that one style, that district style, and that's it. And we're already making huge progress. So now, let's do this block right here. And I'll just continue that process. I think it would make sense to do that in a time lapse because there's not really a lot that changes. Main roads we're going to keep straight. Ring road we're going to keep ring roady because of the shape of the old fortification, and the rest I'll just wing it. Right, so it will take some time for all of these zones to fill in. We got to wait for the population to pick up again, all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, look at how pretty that custom asset is. This is so dang European and old town looking. This is absolutely perfect. Now, if we're lucky and there's another like 2x2 or two 1x2s attaching here, giving this a look of like wall to wall, that would be amazing. This is so beautiful. This is so perfect. Also, this kind of building really looks like a not really industrial looking, but I could imagine a backyard here with some kind of lot of, a small workshop from whatever kind of profession you'd imagine. And yeah, I'm digging this. This is already looking so much more European than everything in vanilla. Let's continue with this area right here, this triangle. And the next area is filled in. So in this case, I still went with a little more commercial just because it is in the old town. Like if we zoom out, it's still very much in the center. And I do want to have the city at a size of around like 5,000-6,000 people. So there will be some outlying developments without even all the incorporated villages or like small hamlets, just the city itself, like the small town itself. So we do need a little more commercial, like in the center, especially along the main roads, like a dry cleaners, that kind of stuff, And that's why I went a bit more heavy with it. Also, when curving the roads, I double checked that. I tried and do 90 degrees connections of the smaller roads towards the main road. Let me remove some of these trees here. And that rock. So as you can see, imagine a car. You would have a very sharp angle when turning. That would be quite dangerous. So in this case, I tried to curve the road so that, the angles are a bit better. And that is one way that this, that basically reality dictated how I would just use the move it tool semi-randomly. I'm still not sure what to do with that area. I might want to do that in future episodes. So just that I don't forget. No, you know what? We're just going to leave them be. We're just going to leave them be. Maybe even fill in some gaps because I said we use some 1x1s now. That's going to look pretty dense and pretty cool. And we're kind of running out on, zoning demand. My other playthrough, there's unlimited demand and unlimited money, but this time we're actually playing the game. Let's see how we can make the city more attractive so more people move in. Parks and Recreation. You know what? This is a nice rural area. And they have nice parks. That is what makes these areas so attractive for people to move there nowadays. That is my PhD topic. Like, why do people move to these, more outlying areas surrounding mid-sized and large cities? And that is because it's nice and green. They have well-maintained parks. And I think nicer parks are increasing residential demand. I still have no idea how it is calculated, but there you go. For the old town, we're going to do free Wi-Fi. That is something that we've seen in a lot of German cities as well nowadays. Try and make the downtown more attractive compared to online shopping. Let's see our progress. So, for example, something like this, these three houses next to each other, or even now with the upgrade, like that different setback and that modern apartment looking building, like in real life, I think the setback, as I said, with that one law, that would be the same setback. But the building style, the roof shape is kind of similar. You have the same amount of floors, you have the same height, and you're good to go. It's similar-ish in style and similar in usage, i.e. residential. And you're good to go. And, some building commission in those small municipalities might even be okay with a different setback like this. Let's first do this rest, and then let's tackle this, because this area is a bit more complex. So, yeah, let's just continue. And here again, we went with a lot of commercial because this is that center in the shopping street, in the pedestrian mall. So very important here. This is definitely something that we want to go a little more custom with later on. But for now, get those commercial buildings in, get the people shopping there, and we should be good. I'm just going to do some filler stuff because a lot of it is pretty nice and pretty dense looking. I actually dig that. Because, you know, we don't have to do everything perfectly. Like, for example, look, on that ring road, that is slightly louder than these back roads and like smaller side streets. You'd have these type of 1960s apartments. For sure. That is realistic looking enough to me. I like it. Older building on the corner of two major roads. Yes, as well. And once we have high density, we can do even crazier stuff. Go even more into like where would apartments go instead of single family houses and duplexes and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really, really neat. And with the shopping street, we're going to add parking garages on the outskirts because the inside is pedestrianized, so people would park somewhere, like for example, right here, and then just, you know, go into the shopping street. Let's actually see if we can find these garages. So the thing is, let's type parking. That these should add entertainment value. 80 entertainment value. That is perfect. Should we just demolish that whole block? Interesting. I have no idea what to do about that. Honestly, for such a small city, this is a tad bit too large, but what if we go with a parking lot? Nice. Yeah, that's it. Some commercial right on the edges as a buffer, and some more residential. And these should increase land value or tourism. Right? And that means more demand. That is the whole thing that we're trying to do. Entertainment 40. Yeah. So let's do that surrounding the pedestrian street. There's some space for 1, 2, if we're clever and use move it. Right here, we're going to remove this house. What about on Main Street here? I think we should have a parking lot here as well. There you go. Yeah, this episode has been going on for way too long right now. I'm not touching that upper area because, as I mentioned in the previous episodes where I created this, I want this to have a very gridded layout. So the only thing that we're now trying to fix is, you know, this looks irregular enough. We're just going to do some very, very slight tweaks to the curvatures here. And the same with the roads in that triangle-shaped thingy here. Just do a simple zone filler and we should be good. In this case, everything's irregular. Everything's a go, basically. Okay, we have parking lots, which are well filled, but we do still have lots of on-street parking as well. For shopping street, that's going to look really cool. And as for the rest, let me see if I can do a time lapse. So we finally switched out these weird looking vanilla buildings for some European looking stuff. Next episode, we'll try and make everything look even more compact. In the meantime, check out the recommended content on the left or the playlist here on the right.